Hi, this is Eric Rogers with Century 21 Affiliated, here talking to you today about preparing your home for sale by making sure that it smells its best. This is part 2 of my video series that covers smells in your home. Part 1 is about elimination of negative odors, and that's really where it starts. We don't want to add good over bad. Now, today we're going to talk about the different ways that we can add a positive smell to your home. Now, this is very important because it works on the buyers on an emotional level. When a buyer comes into a property and it smells good, those buyers are instantly at ease. They instantly feel comfortable. They also might feel that a property is more updated and more well maintained. Now, that will encourage them to not only make an offer on your home, but also make a higher offer on the property. Let's talk about the different types of aromas we should be considering. I usually recommend my sellers focus on either vanilla or cinnamon. Those two aromas do tend to be more popular with buyers. It might make a buyer associate with a warm apple pie or vanilla ice cream or even waffles, and those generally create a very positive emotional reaction with the property. Also, air fresheners do tend to replicate those aromas pretty well. It's tough to find a bad vanilla scent out there. And also, those aromas do tend to be very subtle. We really don't want to get too overpowering with our aromas. You really do want to avoid the floral air fresheners because they do tend to be a little bit overpowering. We really want to focus on 1 to 2 aromas for your home. We don't want every room to smell different. Usually, I recommend if you do want to mix it up, is to have 1 aroma per floor. So your main floor might be a vanilla aroma. Your second floor might be cinnamon or citrus, but really there's nothing wrong with creating 1 aroma for the entire home. Now remember, subtle is key. We don't want anything overpowering. An overpowering aroma can really lead buyers to have a lot of distrust. You don't want buyers to sense that you are using air fresheners because then they feel like you might be covering something up. Next, let's talk about the different types of air fresheners that are available. Now, there is no right or wrong air freshener. Each air freshener can be used for different situations, so I'm going to talk about that, as well as which situation might fit you and how you're going to be selling your home. The first type that I have here is what I like to call the canister type of air freshener. This can be had for about $4 for a 4-pack, so it is fairly inexpensive. The advantages of this is that it lasts a long time. One of these will last average about 3 to 6 months. So you can put this in a home that's completely vacant and nobody's going to be maintaining, and it'll still be emitting a scent 3 to 4 months down the line. The disadvantages to this is that they do tend to be a little overpowering. They're fairly difficult to control. The only means of doing that is by raising or lowering the shield. And they also do a fairly bad job of replicating scent. This does not really smell that accurate, so it does tend to smell a little bit fake. The next type here is the plug-in type of air freshener. This works by having a canister of scented oil or a solid aroma that fits into a base. This base plugs into a wall, and then the electric current creates a warmth, which then diffuses the aroma into the air. The advantages of this type of air freshener is, again, they're fairly cheap. They cost about $5 to $6 for this. They also last a very long time. So this air freshener will last on average 1 to 1.5 months before it really needs to be changed. The disadvantages is that it does need to be changed eventually. So you can't just leave this in a home and leave it for 3 to 4 months. You will need to come back and replace these cartridges. Also, the disadvantage is that they do tend to be a little harder to control. Some of these do come with a control knob where you can increase or decrease the amount of aroma, but they are still fairly difficult. You need to fiddle around with them quite a bit to get the right level of scent. Next up, we have what I like to call the burnable air fresheners. This is your candles, your incense, any air fresheners that require it to burn. The advantages of this type of air freshener is that some of them do smell very good. Like this particular candle is a caramel scented candle. It smells very good. Incense can also smell very good as well. The disadvantages is that they do require a lot of maintenance. You can't just set this in a house for a showing and let it go. You should never keep an open flame on in a house when you're not there. So you need to blow this out before a showing. And then that can also create kind of a burned aroma in the home as well. Also, some types of incense can be a little bit overpowering. Our fourth type of air freshener here is the essential oil diffuser. Now this is popular with those that like to do aromatherapy, so you might already have one of these. This works by having a reservoir that you can fill with water, and then you add several drops of essential oil to this. You plug this into the wall, and then the electric mister will actually release that aroma into the room. The advantages of this type of diffuser is that it does tend to be very subtle. You really don't get an overpowering aroma with this. In fact, you might need a couple of these to get a scent that's strong enough to really be adequate for a showing. The disadvantages is that these do require maintenance. Again, you have to be there monitoring it. The water doesn't last for very long, and when it runs out, your smell runs out and dissipates very quickly. Also, these do tend to be a little bit more expensive. This particular unit was about $40. You can get these for about $20 though, but if you are having to buy several of these per home, the expense does get a little bit higher. You also do need to focus on the essential oil spectrum in terms of aromas. So if you do want to find some aromas that are kind of special or different, you really don't have that option with this type of diffuser. The last type of air freshener I wanted to talk about is the wax cube diffuser. This works by having a top pan that sits over the top of a light bulb. You put a wax square in this pan, and then the heat from the light bulb melts the wax, and the scent is released into the air. Now, I've used a lot of different types of air fresheners in my career, and I will say that by far, this is the most popular for a couple different reasons. They do tend to be inexpensive. You can find a very nice decorative melted wax diffuser for about $15, and that will actually cover about half of one floor. So you might need two of those to cover an entire floor. Also, the choice of scents that you have with this type of a diffuser are very extreme. You can find a lot of different flavors, and they all tend to smell very, very nice. They do a very good job of replicating a nice positive aroma. So for example, this type of air freshener, I'm using vanilla cinnamon brulee. I also have a vanilla cookie here. So the scents are very, very nice. This also tends to produce a very subtle aroma. It does diffuse well though, so you might smell this throughout the entire level with only two of these larger units. They do also sell these smaller units, and this would be useful for placing in a hallway or for a bedroom where you have a much smaller space, but you want to get that aroma as well. Out of all of these five, this would be probably your best choice for a house that you're maintaining, that you're living in, that you can be there from a day-to-day basis, and put a wax cube in here right before you're showing. Turn it on for about 20 minutes and then turn it off right before you leave the home. That melted wax and the scent will actually permeate the house and should last for the duration of your showing. I hope this video has done a good job of explaining the different types of air fresheners that are available and when they should be used. I also hope you can come away with an understanding of how important it is not just to eliminate bad odors, but to also add positive aromas to your home. This is something that I work with all of my seller clients when I'm getting a house ready to sell, to get that house smelling its best. If that's your situation and you'd love an analysis of your home, give me a call. I'd be happy to come on out, meet with you, show you what I can do, not just to make sure that your house is smelling its best, but also make sure that your house is selling its best as well. My phone number is 630-346-1041. Again, this is Eric Rogers with Century 21 Affiliated. Thanks so much.